Hello, this is Miss McCauley, and today my former student teacher, Miss Zach, will finish teaching you about how to solve ratio tables.
So now we're going to talk about scaling. Okay, and scaling is defined as multiplying or dividing, could be either one, two related quantities by the same number. Okay, so as I mentioned, we see this a lot in equivalent ratios, which is what we just talked about. Okay, so an example would be cans of corn are on sale for $4. Okay, so that's 10 cans of corn for $4. We want to find the cost of 15 cans. Okay, so a question we want to ask ourselves, is there a whole number that we can multiply 10 by in order to get to 15? Okay, can you think of any numbers that I can multiply 10 by to get to 15? Again, it's a whole number. Okay, so I personally don't think there is. So if we can't make the number bigger by multiplying, maybe we can make something smaller. Okay, so when I think about my factors of 10, my factors of 10 are 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. Okay, so I do need a common factor between 10 and 4 right here, common factor. So I think I'm going to divide both by 2. Okay, so now if I divide 4 by 2, I get 2. If I divide 10 by 2, I get 5. Now, is there something I can multiply 5 by to get to 15? Okay, this is where knowing your multiplication facts are going to make this a lot simpler. You might have to practice a little bit more, but it's going to make your life way easier if we know those right off the top of our head. So then, in order to get from 5 to 15, I can multiply this by 3. And what I do to this part right here, I have to do to the bottom part down here. So I multiply 5 by 3 to get 15. I multiply 2 by 3 to get 6. Okay? So, this is talking about, again, ratio tables and equivalent tables. Okay? So we solved that. Right now, during your note check, we're going to ask you about a code word. Okay? So now we're talking about tables. I'm going to tell you, Miss Zach's favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, okay? So our code word for this video is going to be Thanksgiving, okay? So getting back to some information, remember that scaling doesn't always mean we're going to make something bigger. Like, scaling can be multiplying or dividing, as we mentioned in our definition, okay? Just keep that in mind as you continue working. Okay, so we're going to do one more example before I have you guys go on and start your practice step, or your C step. And our question is, Santiago receives an allowance of $7 every week. How much does Santiago receive after 4 weeks? Okay, so we're going to make another ratio table here. Okay, so I'm going to draw it just like this. Okay, and we're going to have allowance. And again, his allowance is in money, so we're just going to write our label there. And here we have number of weeks. Okay, so we know after 1 week, Santiago receives $7. Okay, So now I need to find my equivalent ratio, okay? And remember, this is known as the same relationship between quantities, okay? So remember, what I do to one part of my ratio, I have to do to my other part, just like we do with fractions when we're finding the greatest common denominator, okay? So, if after 2 weeks, I need to find out how much Santiago makes, okay? So in order to get from 1 to 2, okay, we're going to write our 2 there, okay? I'm multiplying this week, or I make $7 every week. So if after 1 week I make $7, after 2 weeks, how much do I make? Okay, the easiest way to figure that out is to do 7 times 2. Okay, and then 7 times 2 is 14. Okay, so now we want to get to 4 weeks. So I think our best bet here is probably to go to 3 weeks next. Okay, so if I make $14 after 2 weeks, I can add another 7 here, and I'm going to get 21. Or I know I make $7 a week. This is my 3rd week, so I can also do 7 times 3. Okay, now to finish it up, because our question's asking us after 4 weeks, I can do 21 plus 7, and I get $28. Okay, so after 4 weeks, Santiago makes $28 as his allowance. Okay, so another cool thing about ratio tables is that they can allow us to use this information to build a graph. Okay? So what we're going to do is we want to know how much he receives after 4 weeks. Okay, so we're measuring our information based on how much money he makes per week. Okay, so we're going to graph this as money per week. Okay, so this is my x and that's my y. So my ordered pair would be 7, 1. Okay, because remember our ordered pairs go in x, y. Okay, and then I have an ordered pair of 14, 2. And I have an ordered pair of 21 and 3. And I have an ordered pair of 28 and 4. Okay, so I don't want to get into too much information about this because this is a section that you guys will be covering further on. But I just wanted to remind you that that's one cool thing about equivalent tables is that you can use them to create order pairs and to draw a graph, okay? So keep that in mind as we continue going on. And you guys can go ahead and start your C step. Don't forget to fill out your note check, otherwise you know, not going to receive your points. And remember that code word. Bye for now.